let's just let me finish up this first section for today's presentation, Strong and Hard. First of all, greetings everyone. My name is Wing, and I'm a financial analyst intern from the GPS COE teams. And today I'll be telling you all about my internship experience so far at Masonite. So, but first, let's get to know me. A little bit about my background. I'm actually an international student traveling all the way from Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam to Tampa for college. And as for right now, I'm doing my final years at USF, majoring in business analytics and information system. By the way, go Bulls. I know you're all gonna kill it today. So, as far as I can tell, I've been using, stats and facts to make all kinds of decisions that are in my life, and coming into college, just like things come true to me. And it let me explore my passion with doing data research and analysis, as nerdy as it sounds. And since the first experience I've had with data analytics, I know that this is exactly what I want to do for the rest of my professional career. And then fast forward a few years, I'm now offered an internship at Masonite to come and support the global business services for the Centers of Excellence team as their financial analyst intern under my managers, David and Jeremy, as well as many other people on the team, and just officially taking the first step into my professional career. So let me just tell you a little bit more of information about my amazing team. So, Centers of Excellence, they are a team that are working under the global business services that provide an integrated, a variety of integrated services, mostly focusing on financial analysis, variance tracking, and a variety of operational and ad hoc reporting. At the same time, they're also responsible for developing and implementation of certain business processes that are for transformation initiatives with automation in mind. And some typical projects that the COE team are responsible for are listed on the slide. I'm not going to go through all that because it's going to take a lot of time. But all I'm just going to say is that these projects, as well as many more to come, all align with the objectives as well as the future vision that the GPS set up for Masonite. And for COE's project, there are certain set of software as well as applications that are commonly used. First of all, widely known is our ERP system, including MasterPack and AX, Oracle, and so on. And in order for the analysis to happen, a lot of data transformation need to take place through Excel and Power BI with heavy use of Power Queries. And at the same time, Automation Anywhere is another service that we take on for any kind of automation initiatives, and Easy Vista is another platform that we use to setting up and maintaining M service, which is the the service that we are all using today throughout Masonite. And so, coming into my team, obviously my job is to support them with everything that they are doing so far, which is already shown onto the last slide. And I know what you're thinking. Those are basically just the job description and the department information. We still do not know what you are doing so far with your internship. So here comes my favorite part, where I'm going to show you a little bit of details about all those projects I've been responsible for. First of all is the Power BI best practices. For this project, I'll be responsible for developing a defined set of Power BI best practices. And since Power BI are so heavily used within my team, it is very important for us to implement a standard for Power BI usage within the team and actually create a coherence between every Power BI file moving forward. And also I got the chance to develop an official Power BI template with all the necessary format and functionality for future use. And the second one I want to talk about is the networking capital optimization. This one is actually the main focus throughout my summer internship. And fun fact, at first, initially it was not on my SMART Goals list at all for this internship. And the backstory is a little bit interesting as well. After a few first meetings with with the GPS VP, Russell, I remember him saying that I wish that we could have a better grasp onto our networking capital. And I was thinking you know, maybe having at least like a basic networking capital dashboard could be a great thing. It could be a great place for people like the VP as well as many other people to navigate to and actually get a better picture of Masonite's working capital. And the next thing I know, I was able to start a small-scale business intelligence project working on, you know, Masonite's working capital. The next thing, I'm just gonna dive in a little bit deeper into this specific project, just so that, you know, I can show you guys around all the process that's been going on within the project and show you the end result of that project. So although it's only a small project, but it has all the stuff that every kind of BI project would have. First of all, it's basically the planning phase where me and my manager would just sit down and, you know, set up some proper timeline for the project, discuss what kind of tools that we need to use and what kind of account balance that we need for the dashboard, and basically how we can, you know, acquire that data source. And so this photo right here is actually the original report on the net working capital that we got from the P&L. The data included within this report are actually confidential, so hence all the X's instead of the numbers on this visual. I'm so sorry about that. So the second step is basically just define all the requirements that needed for this dashboard. And it's basically just me doing researches on, you know, the dashboard, everything, like basically figuring out the rough idea of how those data would be portrayed on the dashboard and what kind of visual that we need to use for, you know, the dashboard. And at the end of the day, this mocked-up photo was made to basically just, you know, reporting more on about like the future state of that dashboard and just tell everyone basically how it would look like and how it would be functioning, stuff like that. And then, obviously, after getting the data, here comes the most painful step of the way, transforming and modeling the data. Basically, this step is basically just, you know, transforming the data received in one format, which is the format that I've shown to you in the first step of the way, into another, you know, more organized format that are ready to be used. And within the queries needed for this project, you can see all types of, you know, ways to transform the data, you know, including pivoting, unpivoting, filtering the data, fill down, group by, etc. And so this photo right here actually gives you a glimpse into one of the query. I repeat, one of the queries that needed to, you know, transform the data that we got from, you know, the original dashboard into a more perfect and more organized data that are ready to be used for further, you know, visualizations and calculation. And then, you know, the next step is basically just stepping down and actually designing the actual dashboard according to the mock-up that I've shown before. And this step basically includes a lot of like measurement, calculation, as well as like DAG functions and everything like that. And after a certain amount of time working on it, the final result came down looking like how it should be all along, right here. And and after that, obviously, just following up with the dashboard with like a lot of testing to make sure that everything worked out and the data is accurate enough to use for further analysis. And this dashboard, it aided in a lot into, you know, the process of optimizing our working capital. And then it provides us with, you know, faster and more accurate analysis and effectively increase our you know, like effectively improve our process of making decisions by backing all of it up with, you know, reliable information from real-time data. And then I would love to elaborate more on that dashboard to basically just show how it works and everything, but I think that it's better for me to save all that questions that you might have on the dashboard at the end of the presentation, just for the sake of time. But anyway, besides from all of that, I was able to help on with, you know, minor issues that I was going around with my team as well. For example, like transforming the credit card authorization into the electronic form, and making the authorization process a little bit easier and more effective for both my VP as well as the HR team. And in addition, I also got the chance to aid in the validation process for both the vendor term dashboard as well as the refresh SOP that comes with it. And just making sure that both that work perfectly and avoid any kind of unnecessary difficulties that could happen in the future. And well, at the end of the day, I have to say that this internship has been a wonderful experience, one of the best experiences I've had so far this year. And I would have to say that throughout the day, I got a lot of challenges coming at me throughout the internship, especially considering that this is actually my first time being an intern, as well as my first time ever working in a corporate office. And so, you can say without a doubt that I have no experience working in a corporate office. And the first 2 weeks, specifically, it was extremely difficult for me. I can still remember the first few meetings with my team. I have no idea what they were talking about. I was basically just sitting there and being like, what is master packs and AX? And what do they mean by those vendor terms and everything? What kind of terms are they talking about? Those scorecard that you guys are doing, it looks complex, and you guys do it every week? Anyways, thousands of questions was exploding in my head, and I was low-key freaking out. But I still made one of the biggest mistakes I've had in my entire life by just playing it cool and keeping everything inside. But that's why I struggled for 2 weeks straight. But then after that, you know what? I'm up. I can't do this. I had to figure a way out. And I figured out that all these problems I've been having without understanding everything, it can be solved by just one simple thing. Communication. Communication is just so the key to every success. It helps you, developing professionally, and it increase our productivity so many more times. And at the same time, it helps us building up, meaningful relationship and open so many more doors to opportunity. And after that, I started asking more questions and bonding more with people around me, which helps a lot in keeping me up and updating me with all the things that are going around at work. And like a wise team member said to me before, there's no such thing as stupid question if you can still learn something out of it. And that is correct. And another thing, he asked to all the interns, sometimes those, skilled and senior employees, like your boss, for example, can still need some kind of question being asked by an outsider point of view, just for a quality check. And so next time you're hesitating about asking a question, just thinking to yourself, you're not only doing yourself a favor, but you're also doing others the same thing as well. So why not? And that officially concludes my presentation. Questions you guys may have.
Who do you think should be the end consumer of your networking capital dashboard? How can they use it for decision making?
So obviously that dashboard is made for, my VP originally, because that's what he was thinking about. He wished that we could have a better grasp of our days working capital, which is the cash conversion cycle. And at that point in time, I was working on another project for another dashboard, and I came across that same working capital dashboard, and I was thinking, this is exactly what he needs. And that's why I've spent a month or a month and a half working on that. And if I do have more time to, elaborate on that and update more things about that project, that dashboard, I think it can be somewhat like an executive dashboard for, higher end level user.
And I just add a little, and this dashboard is telling you visibility, building visibility about the company, because now trustees and MLT will be using those three aspects of the dashboard. There is inventory outstanding, there is sales outstanding, and there is payable outstanding as a way in which we measure our working capital on a monthly basis and a quarterly basis to help us with the street. So that's actually not a lot more visibility. So casual comment I made to Anne that when she attended one of my leadership team meetings, became this dashboard, another dashboard for a project, and Rich Liggett from the Treasury team, who leads our Treasury team, our treasurer, is actually going to use that to action this. So this has become something that was an innocuous comment, is now becoming something that will be fully integrated